Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball. This is episode 55. We've finished the non-conference schedule, ready to start conference play. We have the second best overall record in the league at this point. A lot of 2-9s, a lot of 3-8s. So there's quite a few teams that are struggling this year. 4-7s, 5-6s. I mean, there's only 4 teams with a plus 500 record through their non-conference schedule. And if you look up and down the entire league, there's only 2 teams, ourselves being one of them, that had only 2 home games. Both of us happened to win both of those games. We're the only undefeated teams. Missouri State was 4-1 at home. We have a couple 3-1s. We have some 2-1s. Hampton was 5-2. So even though they are 8-3 overall, they only played 4 road games. We were 6-4 on the road with a really fairly difficult schedule. It was not a perfect non-conference schedule for by any stretch of the imagination this year, but winning those last 4 really made a difference after a 4-4 start. So our net at 52nd is much higher than anybody else. We're the only ones in the top 100, though there is a couple that are fairly close. So Macon and Morehead State look like they could challenge this year. Also down there, North Florida at 116. They, like us, only had 2 home games. They're 2-7 on the road, though. Doesn't bode well if they want to move up those standings. Hampton looks decent, though, 3-1 on the road, but a net of 198 suggests that not only did they have a lot of home games compared to road games, they weren't necessarily against top opponents. So potentially they're going to drop down. Missouri State 131, not bad. I think we are in for some competition this year, potentially, at the top of the league, but I definitely think we're going to be near the top of the league this season. I'd venture to say that our first challenging game is going to be Youngstown State. Youngstown State is 3-0 at home, even though they're 4-7 overall. But you're looking at a 2-5 on the road home game for us, a 2-3 home team, a 1-7 away record. All 3 of those look like we should come out pretty strong before we face our first challenge. So let's go ahead and play those first 3, and then we'll make our first live game on the road at Youngstown State. Let's hope we're 3-0 at that stage. Tipping off 10-5 overall, 2-1 in conference. We did lose one of those opening games. We won both home games, and the weakest opponent, though we had to play on the road, they were able to come away with a 4-point win. Following that loss, though, we finally have a healthy Trotty, so I have finally gone through, kind of analyzed who's where, who's been struggling a little bit, who's been excelling, and Trotty was absolutely one of the standouts, even against some, a difficult early schedule before we got dominant. So as we take an early 7-3 lead here, I have a new depth chart with Trotty picking up about 18 a game, 16 minutes a game, and we took away quite a few minutes from kind of everybody. In fact, every starter lost about 2 minutes. That's about 10 of Trotty's minutes right there, and then Purvis, who had kind of picked up the minutes in place of Trotty, and definitely not putting up the similar numbers, kind of sacrificed the other 8 minutes or so as he's down on minutes now, as it's 15-8 here. Seabrooks is the one who stands out to me, who has been great the last couple of years off the bench. Starter role for the first time this year and playing alongside McMillian in that starter's role, and not quite performing where you'd want him to. He hasn't been bad, but he's definitely not been up there with the other starters. But that's been kind of the normal thing these last couple of years with McMillian and Seabrooks, playing, sharing the point about 20 minutes a night each. Neither one has been great. They've been very similar to each other. Well, now, as the 2 guard, I think McMillian's been just a little stronger, not having the workload of the point guard, not having to take all those touches, and it's helped as we are doubling up on them here so far. +5 on rebounds, +4 on turnovers. 10 for 16, 63% to their now 4 for 10, as they only just now got their fourth field goal of this game. 4 for 12 now, 33% from the field, so they are struggling. Free throws helping keep them in it, but we are very similar with, we just got to 10 attempts to their 7, but it was 8-7 a moment ago. Three-pointers. Big time awareness from me that three-pointers have not been a strong suit for us. We're going to go favor inside. We are 1 for 5 beyond the arc today, and that has been a trend throughout the season. None of these guys are shooting particularly well beyond the arc. As a result, our offensive rating has been very subpar this year. And that's one of those standout reasons why we've claimed 5 losses and aren't necessarily going to dominate the league. We have a very strong inside post group as we lead by 10 here, but beyond the arc, it's not just our point guards that are a little bit weak, but we just don't have much shooting in any of those 4 or so guys that get the bulk of the minutes out on, beyond the perimeter. And that's hurting us. It's hurting us big time, as, I think it's going to be a good time to use a 30-second timeout, but apparently we don't need to, as we sorted it out. They closed that gap. It's back to 6 now, and they instantly get that momentum again. If they do score from here, that's a good time. We'll use it now. And then we turn the ball over out of the timeout immediately, so that definitely did not help, and they score at the other end, but we do at least answer offensively. 42-34 right now. Free throws are level. Team fouls, just 5 for us. They've committed 10. I don't know how they've had 11 free throw attempts when we've only had 5 fouls. Every single one's been a shooting foul, including a 3-point attempt? Okay. If you say so, I suppose that would be the only way that one adds up. 4 2-point field goals and 1 3-point field goal attempt on shooting fouls for every last one of them. Nice move there, 49-37 as we wrap up the first half. Still +3 in rebounds, still +6 in turnovers, looking pretty strong there. Williamson, 5 for 8. McMillian, 2 for 2. Much better shooting from our starters here. But 3-pointers combined 2 for 4. That's not bad. But Williamson at 1 for 3. Overall as a team, just 2 for 6. That one more makes a bit of a difference. When it was 1 for 5, we were at 20%. Over 50% as a team, though. Definitely working that ball inside more often than not. Some offensive rebounds also helping keep possessions alive and going. Williamson with 4 steals, a couple for Trotty. Trotty doing well off the bench already, 12 minutes. Only the 2 points, but you can see where he is absolutely contributing for us. A couple steals, couple assists, couple rebounds. Second half underway, and they are starting with momentum. Not sure when we scored, twice just before the end of the half, and they didn't, and yet they still started the half with momentum. 51-39. Each team already with a foul early on here in the second half. And there's a 3-pointer, our third of the game since we favored inside. We are now 2 for 2 on the last 2 attempts, where we were 1 for 5 previously. Small sample size, of course, but that favor inside does seem to help with the outside shooting by stretching that court and, collapsing the defense in a bit more, which leaves more space to the outside. And open looks absolutely do help raise that 3-point field goal percentage. Favor outside, attempt more outside looks, more outside threes. You're going to rely more on their actual shooting skill, which for us is not terribly high. Plus, you're going to drag out the defense, which will get you a few more inside looks if you have somebody with good vision at point guard, especially. 12-point lead here with 14 to play. Lead has kind of held steady. The advantages in the rebounds and the turnovers, though, is decreasing a little bit as that score has remained fairly consistent here in the second half. And you can see our advantages are not quite there. Field goal percentage still really good, but theirs is also rising right now up to 42%. They're definitely playing better in the second half than they were in the first. But our lead was established fairly early on as well, so kind of down the stretch it had balanced out. Now in terms of fouls, that's one thing I'm worried about. We are at 7-6 so far with still 11 to play, so both teams at the single bonus mark or approaching the single bonus now officially are 7-7 with a half of the half still to go, essentially a quarter to play. 16-point lead though is a good sign. Now in terms of those fouls, Evans has 3, Woodruff has 2. Fortunately, we do have plenty of quality backups at the post, so I don't worry as much about that as I would. And with the new depth chart, lowering their minutes a little bit will help keep them out of foul trouble, keep them fresh, keep them playing at their best. Each team already now about to enter the double bonus, 9 fouls each. There's our 10th. Every possession right now. In fact, that was more than 1 foul on the same possession on that last one. So both teams into that double bonus, and yeah, not good. Not good. Cron has 3. Cron's barely played. He's got 6 points though. And they are closing that gap a little bit more. More trips to the free throw line. They suddenly have 29 free throw attempts and we have 34. This is a game that's being played out at the free throw line. Now free throw percentage, for comparison, huge advantage for us, 78%, while they are 55% from the free throw line. And that's most of what we're seeing. I mean, we have almost as many free throw attempts as we have field goal attempts. Same for them. Not a huge discrepancy. I'm not sure I've seen it this close. 4 minutes to play, though. 18-point lead. I think we've got this thing in the bag. This will push us to 3-1. This will also be our first road win of the conference schedule, and we definitely want to get more than half of our games we want to be winning on the road if we are going to be competing for a conference title this season. 3 to play. Not a huge fan of the ball movement that I'm seeing, but eventually we get to the foul line and claim a couple more. 3 for 11 from 3 now, so we have not scored our last, 4 attempts, but they just aren't attempting much at all. And that's one thing that's helping us keep this gap, as well, we aren't making threes, neither are they. So we're not trading buckets 3 for 2, where the gap's shrinking. It's 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, or free throw line, and we're shooting free throws better. So, in fact, we've almost made as many as they've attempted from the free throw line as game ends. 84-66, rebounds pushed back up to +7, and turnovers only a +3. So both of those things got a little tighter in the second half, but we still won. Points in the paint level at half and level at the end of the game, so no change half by half, but we ended up with a healthy advantage in second chance points and fast break points. Williamson, who started really well, finished okay, 5 for 11, and that's with 0 additional 3-point attempts, as all 3 of those came in the first half. Seabrooks, 3 for 8, Woodruff, 3 for 7, where we started strong field goal percentage. The starters did not finish strong. Seabrooks, really poor day, more turnovers than assists. Just 4 rebounds for a point guard is fine. And just 7 points. He was a +20, so when he was on the court, we were at our best. Yet he himself did not take care of the ball very well at all. Only a couple blocks the entire day for us, but 16 steals, 8 for Williamson. That's still probably going to be your player of the game stat line right there. It is according to the AI. The road has definitely not been a great place for us this year. We are not on the same level that we've been, and a net rank of 79 right now makes me think that the only way we're going to make the tournament this year is if we win the conference championship. So it's going to be pretty important to do so. We're only 4-2 right now. We've lost twice out of 3 games on the road. At home, no problem. I mean, home's been easy to handle, easy to do. We actually have had one close game at home, but offensively, we've been a bit amiss. I mean, this is the first time where we put up some decent offensive numbers and managed to lose. For the most part, our defense has been solid, but our offense hasn't quite always been there this season. 73.8 points per game is a couple down from where we normally are at 75 or 76. Uh, Defensively, we're in very much the same place we normally are, giving up significantly less. In fact, better than I think where we were last year. Defensively, we've stepped back up, but offensively, and especially in that 3-point shooting, it's not quite there. Sometimes you need a 3-pointer, not only to stretch the court a little bit, but to that extra point can really impact a little run, a little back and forth. If each team makes 3 shots out of a 5-possession stretch, you're scoring 6 apiece if it's all 2-point field goals. If one of those is a 3 over that little stretch, you've pulled away by a point. 3-pointers are very important, especially with that whole 5-possession concept. You know, if you went 1 for 2 on those 3-pointers and 2 for 3 at the field goals, that's it's gonna make an impact down the stretch. Anyway, 12-6 overall, just 4-2 in conference. Let's see how that stacks up compared to everybody else right now. I am a little worried about with how this season is shaping up. For one thing, Macon at 5-1 have pulled ahead of us in net rankings and are at the top of the league, and we've got a 4-way tie at 4-2. New Hampshire, who just beat us, Hampton, Dartmouth, all up there, and other than New Hampshire with a lower net, who's been really good at home, terrible on the road, and then that's our thing. We're really good at home, not terrible on the road, but definitely not dominant like we've been in past seasons. Just 7-6 on the road this year. Compared to everybody else, it's looking pretty dang good. Hampton, Macon, the only other ones that are putting up similar numbers, and so I do think that as the season continues and shapes up a little bit, you're looking at those being your top 3 teams: Macon, Hampton, us. But where we're at, and I think all 3, none are looking good for the tournament right now, except from winning the conference championship. So this could be a year, if we don't claim that conference championship, which we've only won 4. It's not like we've won a ton of these. It could be a year that, yes, promotion is happening, and yes, we're heading up, but we may not be playing in the top tier tournament this year. We could be playing in one of those 3 lower tier tournaments if we don't claim that conference championship. Obviously, you get the automatic if you do. That might be the only path in for, well, anybody at this stage. 2 games later, and exactly what I expected is starting to show up. For one thing, our 2 losses on the road, Radford and New Hampshire, are against that second tier of teams that are 5-3 right now, that have played well at home but not played well on the road. So for that, you can kind of go, okay, I get it. Well, guess who we have next? It's Hampton. The other 6-2, I think it's the weakest of the top 3. I do think it's probably between us and Macon for who is the best team in the conference. Both perfect at home, both 7-6 on the road. Hampton 8-2 at home, but 6-3 on the road. I think this has a little something to do with ease of schedule, because their net should be much, much higher if those were value wins. So I don't think they're value wins, and they've not been perfect at home. But they still have the best record overall in the conference right now. And their net has climbed pretty rapidly here. And we have to play them on the road for this next game. So it's definitely not going to be easy. If we've lost to Radford and New Hampshire, if we've struggled to make 3s, we could absolutely lose to Hampton. Though, like I said, I think they're only 3rd best of the top 3. I do think we are a better team than them, but that does not mean we're going to win. We've got to play on the road. And we get the game underway. Hampton strikes first, but we make a three-pointer, something that is a bit of a rarity for us. But they immediately answer back, and we get ourselves an and one at the other end. But this game is dead even so far. 8-8, each team answering one another. Offensive putback gives us a slender lead of 10-8, first to double digits, but it's big-time scoring affair so far in this one. And fouls, McMillian and Woodruff, each with one already. We already have 3 fouls as a team now, as somebody heads to the bench. Hopefully it wasn't one of those two picking up their second, but it very well could have been. It's 12-10. Definitely from the first 6 minutes, I think we've got ourselves a contest. The back and forth nature of this one, the lead has changed hands multiple times already. Both teams showing the ability to score. Both teams have shown the ability to defend. Turnovers are 4-6. We have 6 steals. That is all 6 of their turnovers. We have 4 turnovers while they only have 1 steal. So we've thrown it away a few times. Something that's a bit of an issue for us. We just do not protect the ball quite as well as we have in years past. But we are getting a little bit of a lead here. We were up by 8 for a moment there. Definitely trending the right direction. Nice drive for the baseline jumper there. And we use it again, and it's, well, a 3-pointer there, and it's right back to a 5-point game. Get the ball down low. Free throws. We needed that. That was only their 3rd foul. We have 7. So big discrepancy in the fouls department is helping keep them in this game. They are 45% from the field. We're 52%, both on 23 attempts. 3-pointers, both teams with multiple makes. We're 4 for 9. Free throws have not been a factor, but the fouls is a bit of a factor here. Just a 3-point lead. Now make that 5. Turnover again. Our 8th. They have 9. Rebounds are level. Nothing going in the direction that leads to an advantage for either team. Seabrooks, 3 points, 4 assists already. He's doing much better distributing the ball. And the guys that are on the court right now are doing really well. Trotty, 3 for 3 with 6 points. A couple free throws there. 6-point advantage. Minute 30 to play. And we don't want to use a timeout when we have this momentum, so we will abstain from that. But now the momentum is gone, and now they have momentum, so we'll use that timeout as they closed that gap. We make that field goal, but they answer back themselves. We get one more chance at it, and it's 47-42 at the half. Williamson with double digits. He's the first to 11. No, Anderson off the bench with 10. Our last game also saw Anderson score 20, so he's been doing really well. He's got 10 minutes, nearly matching that of those ahead of him. McMillian just 8 minutes because of the foul trouble. Just 2 fouls, but early fouls. Saw him on the bench for a while, and Anderson pick up those minutes. No big standouts other than an 0 for 3 and 2 foul performance from McMillian, though that is a couple 3-pointers, but also a missed free throw. Not doing much there. Seabrooks, 4 assists, but 3 turnovers. If you ask me, Seabrooks is the kind of player, just from what I'm seeing with numbers, which could mean absolutely nothing, but I think he's the type of player that is lightning quick passes. If you're ready for it, if you have good hands, you're going to catch it and score because it's coming in hot and heavy before the defense has a chance to close you down. If you're not quite ready for it, it's going to slip through your hands and it's going to lead to a turnover. Or it's lightning quick and you're not even there yet and you can't reach it. It's going to lead to a turnover, in which case it's definitely his blame. I would guess that's what I would make that type of mold of a player to be. Trotty doing really well, a couple rebounds, a steal, 2 fouls though. 11 as a team. They did catch up to us at the end of the half there with 10. Second half underway, opening with a missed 3-pointer. And we go down to the other end and almost immediately gave it up, and then they scored on their second 3-point attempt of the half. So we have ourselves a 2-point game. We missed that 3. I think we might need to go back to favor inside in this one. The way things are going, let's go ahead and do that now. Might as well, as we do score from inside. I missed where they went from 47 to 49 without having the ball, but I missed. So, I'm sure it was somewhere. No fouls yet from us. That's a good start. 4 minutes without committing one. And we're slowly stretching that lead back out to a 4-point advantage. And yet they have momentum still. 7 now. We scored the last... 6-point lead. We've scored the last 3 field goals and yet have no momentum. And they do. Might want to use a timeout sooner rather than later, as they do have some momentum and have tied the game. We're going to use that 30-second. Talk about it. Go back out. Miss some more field goals. Something we're doing really well these days. Finally, we score. Answering back after their 3-pointer there, and 2 straight field goals gets us back in the lead. And I thought they had made that one. They did not. 10 minutes ago, slow down just a little bit here. 61-58, 3-point advantage. McCarthy with 13, 4 of 7 from the field. Williamson still has not added to his scores. Evans now into double digits. Rebounds -1, turnovers +4. Field goal percentage is really good for both. Free throws, neither team taking too many attempts, but they're 90%, and very similar from 3 as well. Our stat lines are neck and neck. This is a close battle. The difference has been that home court advantage for them, maybe keeping them in this thing where we would otherwise be a little bit better, a little bit ahead. And it definitely seems to give them momentum a little faster. They make 1 shot and they've got momentum. We make 3 shots in a row and we only barely negate the tiny bit of momentum that they had before that. Trailing by 1 here. 5th foul for us. They already have 7, so at least that's good, but we are trailing by 4 at the moment and may need another timeout here in the near future. No momentum either way, but now they have a little bit after we turn that one over yet again, and now it's a 6-point game. Not quite time for that timeout because Williamson is able to respond, get the 3, negate the momentum, and we're good. Trailing by 3 though, and that favor inside has not necessarily gone well, but I don't think it's that the favor inside has been an issue. It's been us just not taking very good care of the ball. Trotty, 5 for 6, 10 points now, cuts the lead to 1. We get the stop, 4 minutes to play. Turn it over again. Up to 16 now, our advantage just a +2. Terrible job taking care of the ball today. 1-point game, 3 minutes to play. Evans with the miss. Evans with the offensive rebound, not the miss. Somebody else missed it. Steal. Go down to the other end. Fouls just 5 and they're at 8. And Woodruff makes the first of 2 free throws. We've got a 1-point lead. Missing the second. -1 on the rebounds. +2 on the turnovers. Field goal percentage virtually identical. Yowzer. There's no advantage in any direction. Everywhere you look, this game has been level. Trailing by 3, though, and they've got themselves a little bit of momentum here. We will use our next 30-second timeout if we don't score, but we score Purvis with the score that time. But then we foul. He only makes 1 of 2. Minute 40 to play. Bad pass from Seabrooks, and it's a turnover again. Now we trail by 4. Long range 2. We know what you want to see there. Another long range 2, but this time it goes in. Seabrooks with both of those attempts took 2. Bad defense on that one. Jeez. Offensive crash boards. Really pick up the pace. Less freedom. Run a set. Game's done. Game's done. We were supposed to have the intentional foul. I don't know why the clock's still running. Nobody commits the foul. Final score, 83-82. Another 1-point loss on the road. A game that was dead even throughout. I mean, everything is super, super close. Both teams shooting 50% from the field. Both teams within 1 free throw attempt of each other. 1 3-point attempt. We actually made more than they did today. Disappointing that we could not come away with it. McMillian, probably the culprit. 0 for 6. He did have 3 steals, but 0 for 6 from the field. Could not make a shot. Williamson, 5 for 13. Did not make a second shot in the second half. He was 5 for 11 at the halftime. So those two down the stretch really, really hurting us. 3 fouls kind of across the board, but a lot of those fouls came well, not a lot, really just 2 fouls in those last couple of possessions was it. The intentional ones, that is. Almost came back. Could not. After bouncing back with a win at home against Illinois State, who's just 1-9 in conference, 0-13 on the road, and it was very comfortable. I've noticed something about our schedule so far, and at least our next 2 games coming up with 6 to go, so there's only 4 more after that. I haven't looked at the schedule to see what we have for those 4, but here's what I have seen for our schedule so far. In conference, all of our road games have been against the top teams in the conference. So far, in the top 7, in the top 7 teams in the league, exclude ourselves, so the top 6 opponents, the all plus 500, we've played 4 of them so far. All 4 were road games. Every single home game we've had has been against the bottom of the conference. Hence, we are perfect at home, but we're struggling on the road, and just 7-3 overall. We have had really unlucky draw when it came to what our schedule was this year entirely. I mean, we've played 14 road games and just 8 home games. So our non-conference schedule was massively underbalanced. And then our conference schedule has been massively unbalanced. We've played as many home as we've played road, and we've won every home game. That part's balanced, but the strength of that schedule, it's been nothing but hard games on the road and nothing but easy games at home. So we haven't gotten to play a Dartmouth at home, who is just 4-9 in the road, while 7-1 at home. You'd feel confident of beating Dartmouth at home. You'd worry about going on the road to play Dartmouth, and that's what we've had to do. So it's been a difficult draw. I don't think our team is that bad. It's got some issues. It's not a great year, but we have had a super unlucky draw for our schedule this year. Let's hope that the last 4 are a little better, because I haven't looked at those, but our next 2 are going to be a couple more tough games. We're playing some better road teams. Better, home record teams in the next couple of games. It's not going to be easy. It's absolutely not going to be easy. Macon, though, fallen off a bit. They're down to a 139 in net. They're down to 6-4 overall. So maybe they're not that dominant. We still have a chance of pulling ahead. We still have a chance of getting automatic promotion, but we still have a chance of not this year. I mean, that's shocking to me if we don't get automatic promotion. But it's going to mostly come down to what our schedule is. It is what it is, and you've got to do, you got to make the best of what you have. And we haven't. We have not made the best of our opportunities, where we are 2-3 on the road here in conference, where we are, we're 2-3, 5-0 at home, 2-3 on the road. It's been tough. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.